as well. Okay, so coming straight to the point, so the purpose of this presentation is how to write good proposal. Okay, next slide please. Okay, let's see. Why should you write a proposal? Right? The first question is that you want to raise funds. Okay, let's ask a question. Why do you want to raise the funds? There are two reasons. One, definitely the good reason, and the other one is not so good reason. What is the good reason? You are already doing work. You are already taking social initiatives. It's already running. You are very committed to your cause. You are really putting your heart. And if somebody gives you extra amount, it will help you speed up the thing. That is the reason why you want to raise the fund. On the other hand, if you have any vested interest, like I want to become rich, I want to grow myself, for that you start a private limited company. Absolutely fine. Purpose of the private limited company or any company is to generate the profits, generate the wealth for the shareholders. On the other hand, NGO, which I call SSO, Social Service Organization, you are a social service organization, right? You are already doing good work and you want to raise the funds for betterment or speeding up the activities that you are doing here. So when the clarity is there on why you want to raise the funds, automatically it will make your proposal very powerful. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Next, yeah, just click. Okay, next one. Okay, so next, who will get the funding? Okay, let's see who will get the funding. The one that I have seen, the people who get the funding are the most passionate ones. They are so passionate about their work. They don't care whether any funding is or not, they will do the work. You might have heard on Talu Marada Timmakka in Karnataka. She simply planted the trees. Just kept on planting, kept on planting, kept on planting. If she were to raise the funds, some people will give thousands of crore rupees, if not, or at least hundreds of crore rupees. But did she wait for that? No. She just kept on doing because it's her passion. So that is the first reason. Second is you have to have the expertise. That is the second thing, because I am giving this background because this all plays a role in how do you prepare the proposal. When somebody asks you, you go and ask somebody, okay, I need funds. The next question is, what you are going to do. If you answer say that I can do everything, the chances are very less. Because, when you have, let's say, a knee problem, you go to orthopedic surgeon, right? When we need to learn history, we go to the history professor. Like this also in the NGO, you want to make sure that in whichever area you take, you develop expertise in that area. Go very, very, very deep in that area. That should be your path. On the other hand, if you are doing generic things right, the chances of getting funding will be less. Not that I am not saying you will not get, but the chances will be higher if you develop expertise in one area and really go deep into that. Next is capex. Lot of people will definitely prefer to give the funding for the capital expenses. On the other hand, operational expenses, you are expected to run on its own. There is a separate session that we can have on that, but just remember, capex is the most preferred funding. Next, can it be sustainable? And next point, you are not desperate. If you are very, very, very desperate for funding, the chances of getting the funding will be less compared to your working is already going on and you want the funds. At that time, if you normally were doing the work, the chances of getting the funding are higher. That is how the whole thing works. Okay, you are very professional, you are very trustworthy, who has clarity of purpose, and one who follows standards. Very important. I suggest all of you please do additional reading in terms of what's happening, how the large organizations are raising the funds. They raise crores of rupees, hundreds of crores of rupees internationally. How do they do that? You want to study all of that. For example, you are seeing this here, right? The Sustainable Development Goals. Any project that you are doing most likely will align to one of these goals. So you want to make sure that you study these goals, see if your project can be aligned to that. Similarly, understand what is the theory of change. So that's a separate session altogether. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. So next you want to understand who and why people will give the funds. Primarily we divide into three parts. Government, why the government gives? To run the operations faster. And if the funds are already there, especially in the month of March, they want to exhaust the funds. So that is one reason. Most likely the first reason is why you will get funding from the government. Second is lot of corporates. Right? Lot of corporates will give the funding, and either because they are interested in the area of growth. Second is increase the corporate goodwill. Out of compulsion, that is also there. So, and individually, individual philanthropic foundations, right? They follow, earn, give, save, spend, or create their own, build their own statue out of prestige, pressure. There are different reasons. So, my request to all of you is that when you write a proposal, understand who you are going to present to. Right? So, you want to have a clarity on whom you are presenting, because same proposal can have 10 different forms. Same work, but you want to make sure you will tailor it based on who you are presenting. Next slide. Okay, now coming to the actual proposal, you want to have two proposals minimum. One proposal, short pitch, 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes. Suppose, you are Anand. Okay, he is a multi-millionaire, and you meet him. He says, I am ready to give you fund. You tell me what you want to do. You should be able to tell him by the time he starts, you start walking with him all the way till he goes to the car. Not more than 2 minutes. Right? You should be able to tell what you want to do, why you want to do, what happens if it is not done, and why you are the best person for that. All in 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes. Because after 2 minutes he will be sitting in the car and going. You don't have time. So, you want to make sure that just within 2 minutes, how can you make a compelling statement about what, why, where, when, how you are going to do your thing. So, just a sample that I wrote. Like this, you want to come up with just a 2-minute proposal for every project. Again, cover what you want to do, why you should do, and why you are the best person. Okay? And finally, how much you require. He is a busy person, $100 million work. He will give you only 2 minutes. You tell, sir, I need this much money and this is what I want to do. Done. He'll say yes. Okay, secretary's number you take. Get it going. Okay, next slide. Okay. Now, next comes is what you are going to send it. He has said yes. He understood 2 minutes. He said he will give. But he will have an entire army of the people who will validate the proposal, right? So, in the impulsive, he said yes. Definitely, here you want to prepare a detailed proposal. You want to answer 6 questions for that. Who, what, why, when, where and how. You answer these 6 questions very thoroughly in your proposal, the chances of getting a funding are bigger. Okay, it should expand from the 2-minute one. You have the 2-minute proposal, you just expand it, each of that. Okay, so next one is you should have the supporting documents, make the additional videos, handy things, testimonials, and lastly, put the interest of the public. Why you are doing the project, whom it will impact ahead of your personal. Next slide. So let's go about each of them. So let's cover what. Okay. This is the who, what, why, where. Let's just go to the next one directly. First you want to is the first slide of your proposal. First is 2-minute thing. You write it down what you are going to do. Next is you cover what is the problem. What is happening on the ground. What is the immediate impact. What is the medium term impact. What is the long term impact. Say one of the Mr. Raghu I was speaking. He is passionate about repairing the government schools. So you want to write, what is the problem? We have 100 government schools in our area which require small repairs, which will help the students. That is what you want to do. And that is the things are leaking and all that. That is the problem. What is the immediate impact? Students are not able to sit in the school. What is the next impact? They will lose in the study. What is the next impact? Your district will get impacted in terms of the education. So things will, bullwhip effect. Small issue becomes bigger and bigger. So you want to convincingly explain what is the problem on the ground. So that is the first slide you want to build. Use definitely the numbers. Next slide. Next, you told what is the problem. You have to tell what are you going to do, right? You got to, within one page only, don't write big stories. If you want to write the thing, prepare 100% suppose proposal. But 2 minutes, then next is 6 to 8 slides, then it could be 100 pages proposal. In that very clear on what is to be done. I want to repair 100 government schools at the cost of between 20,000 to 50,000 rupees per school in this period of, let's say, September till December. Be very clear in terms of the time. Next is do not confuse. You know, when you are presenting, whoever is the CSR head, right, he will get hundreds of proposals. You tell, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. He'll say, what are you trying to do? So please don't confuse. Be very clear. If you want to do multiple things, prepare separate proposals. Okay, alright. So next is take the least amount of time and communicate what you want. Next to practice. Alright. Next one. Establish a sense of urgency. Why is very important? Because you know, if you don't do that, the project may go down to the next priority. So you want to establish a sense of urgency. Why this is to be done? One thing that you want to remember is that never criticize whoever already has done the work. If you find that in your village the toilets are not good in the schools, you don't want to criticize saying that okay, this was done, this is done, but not done. Never ever say that. Instead, you take the picture of what is the current scenario, what you want to do, and why it must be done. So, explain the sense of urgency over here. Okay, especially when you are presenting it, be very professional. The next one, next slide. Okay, the next question we covered who, what, why, where, right? So this is where and when you need to cover. Be precise on what area you are going to cover, when it will be done. You want to come up with a detailed schedule as much as possible. You know, for example, one bad example will be, I want to take a lot of initiatives in the health area. A good example will be, I want to conduct awareness sessions for the children, girls children between the age of 10 and 14 in 300 schools in XYZ Taluka in 25 villages in next 3 months from October 1st till December 31st. Right? Very clear. When you are very clear on this, right? You know that story building has happened. That person who is reading should visualize saying that okay, this person is going, conducting those questions, the student will be getting benefited. You know, he will imagine the benefit out of that, and he will also imagine how his company, you know, brand value is there. All that will be there. You got to build a mental picture in that person, right? And you need to use this proposal. Be very clear on where and when. Next, who will work on it? That is very important. You want to make sure you are with a team. If you go and tell that, okay, I am a Superman, I am going to do everything, the chances may be X. But if you go as a team saying that I am one person, I have an army of direct 7 people, I am through that I have 70 people, we have volunteers in 300 villages, that has tremendous amount of, right? So, but, see whether ultimately the funding will come because of you. Funding will come based on the trust that person has on you. But you need to make sure that you are not doing the team building exercise after you get the funding. Instead, have the preparation done. Okay. Alright. Then, again you want to mention advisory team, execution team, evaluation team. You want to put it over there. Remember one thing. You can document everything. Try to follow this. But when you need to change anything, go ahead and change it with the new information. Okay, that independence you have. Ultimately, the project must be done. If you need to change something, with the new information to change it. So then again, have the budgets. In the budgets, you want to clearly tell what is the amount required, why it is required, where it is different. As much granular you go. Okay, next one. Here, in the next slide, you want to make sure how much is the total amount of the project, how much is already raised, how much is committed to be raised, including the amount that is given in the kind. Okay, how much exactly you require from him. You should be able to tell $100 million work person saying that you have a project of 2 crore rupees, you have raised already 1.2 crore, and you are going to raise another 30 lakhs, you need 50 lakhs. Be very clear. When he sees that your project is going to be done with or without your help, his chances of giving the funding will become higher. Okay? Alright. The last one in your proposal, you want to make sure all of these are ready. Whether you attach it or maintain it separated document, but make sure that you have detailed project schedule, risk management document. What happens if this some assumption you have made, it doesn't work. Make that planning, cash flow document. When do you need how much money? Status reports, design drawings, team already formed, your photographs, videos, keep all of them handy. Especially when you prepare these schedules, right, it will help you get your own clarity. Even if nobody else reads, just the process of preparing a detailed proposal will help you get a better clarity. Next one. The last one, thanks to Vijay for giving the idea, is related to the crowdfunding. Okay, there are like Ketto.com, ImpactGuru.com, many more organizations wherein you can upload your project plan and seek the funding. This is funded from different people. Where you are coming up with an innovation and that innovation nobody is ready to fund you, or it doesn't meet all the standard criteria. But people may be passionate, right? Somebody will say okay, 100 rupees, somebody will say 1000 rupees, 2000. That is how you can raise the fund. This is the crowdsourcing. You want to become familiar with that. So finally, to conclude, be more committed, be better chances. Next, have multiple sources of funding. Absolutely, I don't have to tell you all, but that is definitely you want to remember. Keep sufficient amount for operational expenses when you prepare the proposal plan. Make sure to allocate, okay, I need this much amount specifically for the operations. Don't directly only tell, okay, I want conducting this is what is the expense. But who will bear the cost of all these operational expenses? Make sure that you put it over. Project evaluations you do, and financially you want to be very prompt, make sure that all attachments of the last 3 year statements, everything is done, it's up to date, all that you want to maintain. Next is financial reports on time. Okay, one important thing, until you get the money in your bank, don't ever assume you have got the money. So many people I know have unfortunately lost the fund because for whatever reason the things got delayed. Okay, including me also. Okay, so never assume that the money is there until you get a return confirmation saying that the money will be transferred on so and so date, or actually money comes over. Okay, verbal, wonderful, but insist on the return thing or actual money coming. Couple of more things, you want to utilize the money only for the purpose it has been given. And lastly, whether we like it or not, the world uses English. To all of you, my request will be that apart from doing the work on the ground in the Canada,